Hello, fam. How are you? It is so good to see all of you. Believe it or not, this is actually our first live of 2025, which is crazy because I love to do these weekly. But between sick kids and travel and all the things, here we are for our first live training. But we do have them scheduled every single week going forward. Bar like life happens, all the things. So I'm so excited to be here with you today. I see Nicole's on. Hi, Nicole. How are you? Yes. So today we are talking about how to book your first VA client. I should caveat that too, or your next VA client without having to endlessly scroll job boards. So if that has been a pain point for you, or you're like, I'm looking on all the job boards, I'm researching open jobs, and maybe you haven't booked your dream clients yet from job boards, or you're just like, I feel like there's a better way. And drop this in the chat too. One of the things that you will see with job boards, and put it in the chat if you've seen this, is that job boards typically advertise rates that are very low, right? Like you are a VA and you're like, yo, I'm worth $40 an hour, $50 an hour. But job boards, typically you'll see they tend to be around $20 to $30 an hour. And you, my friend, are worth so much more than that. So that is exactly what we're going to talk about today. Before we dive into that, welcome to MomXVA. This is the community for moms who are redefining what's possible in motherhood and in life. And yes, it's about being a virtual assistant, but it's also about so much more than that. Because what I see is that being a VA is really the conduit, the vehicle, if you will, to having your yes life. I was a stay-at-home mom for 5.5 years before I found the virtual assistant industry. And I loved being home with my kids, but I also had this deep desire to contribute to my family financially and just really have something true and real of my own. I had been in direct sales in the time that I was home with my kids, and it was a lot of fun. Like I loved it. I got to travel. I got to speak on stages. I really learned a lot about business that I was then able to take into my own business, but it was never my own. And, if you've been in direct sales, you've probably found too that your income is reliant on people buying or joining from you, and every month can look different. But what I loved when I found the VA industry, I was like, whoa, so you're telling me I get to use the skills that I already have from previous corporate life before I had kids, and I could book a client. I got to choose who this client would be, someone that I really wanted to work with. I aligned with their work, and then I'm with them for as long as it feels aligned. So my first client that I booked when I decided I wanted to be a VA was 3 days in, and she was $2,000 a month. And what was so cool is that this client is locked in month after month. So as long as, I show up and do my part and it's a good fit, like every single month I have that 2K locked in. So that was just such a huge eye opener, and yes, please, this is amazing aspect of what made me decide to become a VA. And I would love to hear from you guys. Put it in the chat. Why did you decide to become a virtual assistant? What was it that was appealing to you about being a VA? There's so many amazing reasons. But what I found, a couple things when I jumped into the VA industry. One, which you maybe have seen too, is that there is no standard one place that you go to find VA jobs. And so, when I started, I was like, oh, I'm going to look here and I'm going to look there. And I quickly found, resources to find VA roles. So they're out there, but it's kind of annoying. There's not one place. The other thing that I noticed too, which when I was starting out, I really didn't care so much about what I was getting paid. I just cared more about booking clients and getting experience. And eventually, I learned how to increase my rates and have those conversations and price based on my value and my worth. But in the beginning, I'm like, let's just get clients. Let's figure out, how this works, get the experience, all of that. But I noticed that typically roles were very low that were posted on job boards. And also you've probably seen this too, that, it's competitive because there's no unified place for VA roles where you can find them, that, it's people are scouring and hunting and the good roles everyone applies to. So one, it's competitive, and two, you also have to be a ninja at marketing and messaging and positioning yourself as the one that someone should hire. And what I'll say, like, I was lucky in that regard because prior to kids, I had two different careers, if you will. I worked in fundraising and development for hospital foundations, universities, and I was also a recruiter. So I worked for a tech company, and I was their head recruiter for 2 years. I started out in tech recruiting and then ended up working with the whole company. And then I also had worked for a staffing firm. I was their on-site account manager for one of their largest clients. So what that means was that I've screened in my lifetime, I've screened thousands of resumes. I've conducted thousands of interviews on the hiring side. So I knew how to position myself to be hireable, which was really helpful, obviously, going into the VA industry. So that is one of the things too, is like, if you're doing the job board route and you're applying to open roles, like, you got to be so good at knowing how to position yourself, how to translate your corporate or previous work experience, volunteer experience, mom experience, it all counts, into a very compelling portfolio, application, all of that. So that is kind of like the pain points of job boards. Now, I will say, like, of the 4 clients that I booked in 30 days, 3 of them came from job boards. So like, it is a great way to get clients, and you can be a ninja about it. And that's one of the things, like, in my VA Leadership Academy, I love supporting students with that part, you know, the portfolio and what to say and how to position yourself and how to translate your experience. So yes, that being said, you can absolutely find your dream clients on job boards. However, what I want to teach you today is that there is another way. And this other way, actually, and I'll explain why, you can get paid a lot more and likely find extreme alignment. Does that almost sounds like a bad thing? But extreme alignment in that when you use this strategy, you will typically find people who you have a resonance and a connection with, and you also have pre-existing trust before you even have that conversation, which makes the hiring, onboarding, working with them process just so much more intuitive and fluid. So here's what we're going to talk about, is how to book clients without job boards. And I'm going to give you all of my strategies, and I'm actually going to tell you, like, some of the things that I did when I was starting. And this is actually what I teach my students in the VA Leadership Academy. And, you know, so many of them have booked dream clients this way. So I'm just going to, like, break it all down for you. Is that okay? Put a yes in the chat if you're like, yeah, like, tell me the goods. What's going on? So first, before we go into the strategy too, there's a couple of things that I want you to know, because this is important to know going into the strategy. First, and you probably, if you watched any of the lives here, you've heard me say this so many times. Can anyone guess what it is? It is, you are already an expert, right? So as a VA, you are leveraging your prior work experience, your, like, volunteer mom experience, all of it counts. And like I said, you know, earlier, it's the messaging and positioning, you knowing how to present that in a compelling way. And ChatGPT also, just by the way, like, if you use it as a brainstorming and ideating partner, where you're just like, this is what I've done in my background, I'm becoming a VA, like, help me pick out services and position myself as this powerhouse VA who helps business owners, you're also gonna be like, okay, I guess I am kind of a badass. So I recommend doing that if you have not yet. But I want you to adopt the identity, the assumption, the belief, the conviction that you are an expert from day one of becoming a virtual assistant. Because guess what? As a virtual assistant, you're simply doing remote and digital work, but you're using the skills, the knowledge that you already have. And I will also say that, like, if you've had this amazing corporate career and background, that is an asset. And your clients, especially when you know how to position it, it's an asset, because your clients are like, whoa, so you're telling me you have 10 years of professional experience doing this, and you're going to take that into my business? Yes, freaking please. Yes, please. Like, my clients, when I booked them, the one in 3 days, you know, I told her about my professional background and what I'd done and da-da-da. And she was like, whoa, yes. You know, like, this is amazing. Because if you think about it, like, entrepreneurs who start their business, they typically will take it as far as they can by themselves. And then they realize they need, Blue, Shush. Come here. Sorry. My dog. Blue. Blue. Come here. Blue. Come here. Stop. Sorry, guys. The joys. Hold on. One sec. Blue. Stop. Come here. Come on. Come on. Blue. He's like almost 2. He's very vocal. I don't know if anyone else has a blue healer. They're amazing and also very loud. Okay, so let's see. Where were we? We were, okay. So business owners who hire you, typically they will take their business as far as they can go by themselves. And then they realize like, okay, to get to the next level, I need help. I need team. I need a different skill set and knowledge base. And they, not all entrepreneurs have this crazy corporate background, right? So you coming in and saying, yeah, like I have 10 years of experience managing projects, leading teams, working in retail with a variety of client avatars or, people. I know how to have challenging conversations. And they're like, yeah, yes, please. So the biggest thing here that I really want you to adopt going into this conversation and strategy about how to book clients without job boards, like if you don't have this, the strategy is not going to work. And that is that you are an expert from day one. And you have to, no one's going to give you permission to be the expert except you. I mean, I can tell you right now, you're a freaking expert, go own it, but you have to give yourself that permission first. You have to have the conviction of yo, I have this amazing background. I'm going to take it into your business and I'm going to help you with this. And you have to have the confidence too that everything you've done is transferable. So, maybe you have a background in teaching. I know there's a lot of teachers in here, and by the way, teachers make amazing VAs. So you have a background in teaching. If you think about it, think about each of your students as sounds bad, but I don't mean it in a bad way. Each of your students is like a project that you have managed, and you manage the communication, you manage the timelines, the deliverables, what you give them. You can take that project management experience and take that into the VA industry because you are a ninja at communication, organization, attention to detail, managing different personalities, all the things. Okay, so key number 1 going into the strategy that I'm about to share on how to book clients without a job board is that you need to have the confidence and the conviction, I might not know. Because that's the thing, it's going to feel normal. You decide to become a VA and you're like, whoa, but I've never worked as a VA and this is a whole new industry and career. And yes, that's true. And of course, there's a lot to learn with starting a VA business and all of that. But you should never waver in your doubt that the experience you have previously lends itself to being a VA and that if nothing else, just that what you've done in your career, you can use that and transfer that, the skills, the knowledge, the experience into someone else's business to help them. So, and just know it's all transferable. It's the topic. We could do a whole nother training on that. And there are, if you're whoa, I want to hear more about this, there's lots of trainings in the guides that talk about this. Okay. So I want to walk you through, and this was all intuitive when I did this. What you should know is that your network is already full of people who need VAs or know people who need VAs. And when you can leverage that and when you can lean into that, you will find that you typically book clients a lot faster because there's already a trust built into it. If Joe, who this Joe, made up person named Joe, and he knows Gary, and you talk to Joe and you're like, hey, I'm a VA. I've decided to take my X number of years of professional experience and bring it into businesses to help them grow, save time, whatever. You're like, Joe, do you know anyone who has a business or, who might be hiring, who might need some team support? And Joe says to Gary, hey, I know Christy, I see Christy's name on there. Hey, Gary, I know that you were just talking about, how you couldn't keep up with social media for your business, but it's something you want to put time and energy into. Well, guess what? My friend Christy just started her VA business and she's got this amazing career and experience in social media. So I wanted to connect you two. And Gary's going to be like, oh, cool. Yeah. Like, let's chat. Christy, you're hired, and of course you have to know how to message and position yourself. But like, it can be as simple as that. And here's also why I love leveraging connections. And I'm going to give you some strategies for this. But here's the thing too. This is like pain point number one with job boards versus when you go book your own roles. With job boards, your clients have already decided what the role is worth from a time perspective and a rate perspective. So they've already decided this role is 10 hours a week and it's $25 an hour. And you're like, okay, cool. And sometimes, like, I've seen this happen with my students where they see a really cool role, they'll apply, they'll have the conversation of like, hey, my rates are typically a little bit higher. Like, are you open to meeting in the middle? And they will, clients will move their rates for the right person. But generally they're like, this is just what it is. Like, take it or leave it. If you want the role, it's $25 an hour. Now, on the flip side, when you go book your own clients, you get to lead that conversation. So and especially when you can really listen to their pain points and their goals and translate that into the services and the support that you are going to provide. And, so you get to lead the conversation, and you also get to lead with what your rates are. And if you don't want to be paid on time, you can price your services based on deliverables. So let's just use Christy with social media. Christy, I don't even know if you offer social media, but let's say you do. So if Gary, our hypothetical Gary, needed help with social media, instead of saying that you are $30 an hour, you can say, yeah, so I can do, 10 posts a week for you and, 3 stories a day. And this is $2,000 a month. I can do, 5 posts a week and 1 story a day. And this is $1,000 a month. Or if your budget is, a little bit smaller, we can do 3 posts a week and a story every other day for $500. Like, I totally just made that up, but that's an example of how you can price based on deliverable instead of time, which as you get experience, you're going to get a lot faster. This is one of my crazy, like, I saw this example when I first got started as a VA and it broke my brain in the best way. I saw this VA share a story of how she does social media. She offers, I think it was $750 packages, and it takes her 4 hours to do. She had 20 clients. Guess how much she was earning every month in part-time hours? $15K. So and it doesn't have to be social media, but if you think about like a tangible thing that you could package up and deliver to a client, and the more you do it, the quicker and the more intuitive it becomes. So it's going to take you less time. So just another way to think about pricing your services. But so here's the thing. I want you to think right now, and you can put it in the chat, or if you have a pen and paper, think about people in your network that you already have. So I want you to just write out, who have you worked with in past jobs, coworkers, who do you know that owns a business? And not even if it's someone that you want to work with per se. This is exactly what I did. Like, literally the day, like, I found the VA industry, I'm like, this is it. And I just created my portfolio. And then literally as soon as I had it, like the second it was done, I just sent some of my friends who owned businesses. Like, one was a local PT, one was I think she was like a functional medicine practitioner. So I just sent them a message. This is exactly what I said. You're going to get the whole scoop. I said, hey, can I ask you a question? That's what I said at first. And they were like, of course. Like, I already knew them. They were, not close friends, but enough where they're like, yeah, of course, Brie, what's up? So think about those types of people, past coworkers. It doesn't even have to be people who own businesses. People who you like, people who you know are connected. Maybe their spouse has a business. Okay. So you ask them a question. You ask them if you can ask them a question. They say yes, because of course they're going to say yes. And then you say, awesome. It's a little bit longer, so is it okay if I email you? What's the best email address to send this over? And you can always, like, because they're like, oh gosh, what are you trying to sell? So you could always caveat that too. You're like, I'm not selling you anything. I just want to get some feedback. I'm doing some research around something new that I'm doing. So I just wanted to, get some feedback on that. And, or whatever you want to say, like, trust your intuition there. And okay, so then you email them and you say something like, and this truly is, you're conducting market research. Like, hey, thanks so much for being willing to chat. I just started a virtual assistant business. I am so excited to bring my, 10 years of experience doing this, and this into, businesses. And you can feel free to keep it personal too. Share your why. Why did you become a VA? Keep it short. Don't give them your life story, but feel free to share your why. I'm so excited to have this as a really flexible way to be home with my kids or whatever your reason is. Okay. Next, because you're a business owner and I respect so much what you've done, I wanted to just pick your brain if that's okay. I really want to learn and understand how business owners think. And so I'd love to just ask you a couple quick questions. And here, what you're asking them is stuff like, what would you outsource if you had a VA? If you had someone to help you with your long to-do list, what are some of the things that you would want them to do? What are some of the questions that you'd have about hiring a VA? What are your biggest pain points in your business? What are your goals and what do you feel like is kind of a sticky point in getting there? So you're getting market research, right? And this is so valuable because your best marketing comes from what your ideal clients will actually say, what actually say and think. And you can use that in your messaging too. So next, you ask 3 questions and not a whole laundry list because, you ask them too many and they're not even going to respond. Couple questions, really digging into their pain points. What would they want to outsource? Why would they hire a VA? What would they have them do, etc. Next. This is super important. Attach your portfolio to it. And then, so I've attached my portfolio. If you want to take a peek, would love your feedback there. And, also if anyone is looking for virtual support, I would be so grateful if you passed along my information. So you're not pitching them at all, but you're planting the seed that you're open for business. And here's where there's so many subconscious psychological levers there, because in the back of their minds, you're getting them to think about hiring a VI. And those questions are strategically designed to get them think about dang, my to-do list is really long. There's so many things that I need to do that I don't have team support for yet. Shoot. And then you attach your portfolio and they're whoa, this person's a badass. And you're telling them you're open for business. And so you'll actually find, and it's not your intention should not be to, necessarily book the people that you're doing market research with, but you're going to find just by the nature of that conversation and the way that you approach it, that you will actually likely hire clients from those conversations too. And some of it's simply a numbers game, because obviously the more doors that you open, the more space you create for someone to come back to you. And it's do more than you think that you need, right? Okay, so that's such a huge strategy. Go do this immediately today. The other thing is, if there's people, if you don't want to do the market research strategy, you can literally just send people a text or a message that that you have a relationship with and just say, hey, I just launched my virtual assistant business. If you or anyone in your circle needs admin or business support, I'd love to connect. So you're not asking them to hire you. You're just letting them know what you're up to. And again, telling them that your door's open for business. So that's another, if you want to just keep it short and sweet. And so I want to challenge you, go send some market research emails and have those conversations today. And also just go find 3 people who you're before your logic brain can talk you out of it, that you're yeah, I should just go tell them I'm open for business. Do it. I want you to do it today, right after this. Okay. So next strategy to book clients without job boards is to show up where business owners already are. And I'm going to caveat this because this is not Facebook group job boards. This is not showing up in VA groups where people are looking for VAs. I want you to think about, like, who do you really want to work with? And if you're not sure, here's a little tip for that too. I want to ask you, and put this in the chat. What's like special, unique, weird, amazing about you? Like, what's something that you've loved since childhood? An example for me, I am literally a horse nerd. I have loved horses since like the beginning, like since I could talk, actually before I could even talk. Like, I love horses. I live, breathe, sleep, eat. Actually, I don't eat horses. But anyways, I love horses. And so as a VA, I'm like, dang, it would be so cool to also work with people who love horses. And like, shoot, there's all kinds of equestrian businesses. So I want you to think like that. Like, what is just something you've loved since childhood, or maybe you're super into now? Is it health and fitness? Is it ketones? I'm just making up stuff. Is it beauty? Like estheticians? So I want you to go into those groups, Facebook groups, not VA groups, but figure out like faith. I think that's a really cool one, because I've had a lot of students, like, faith is so important and they want to work with faith-based businesses too. I'm willing to bet with it, like 100% fact, that there are Facebook groups for, you know, Christian entrepreneurs, whatever your religion is. So go get in those groups. Okay? And you're not showing up with the agenda for them to hire you. You're showing up as a human who shares a similar interest and passion. And like, get visible in the group. And I think this is also important to note too, is because of that, because I want you to engage and connect in the group. Don't join like 16 of them. Pick one, maybe two, and just commit. If it's like 10 minutes a day, like, it doesn't have to be 5 minutes a day even. You're like, I'm just going to connect, engage in the group and show up, get visible. Okay. Now, this is like a hack too, is that someone's going to post something, like, let's say we're in a Christian entrepreneur group, just as an example, and they're going to ask a question about business, because that's what business owners do. Like, hey, what's the new Instagram strategy or whatever? I'm making things up again. And now, here's where it gets fun, and here's where it also gets strategic. You're going to send them a DM, and this is exactly what you're going to say. You're going to say, I saw your post asking about, you know, the latest Instagram strategy. I help business owners with that. Want me to take a quick look and make some recommendations? That's it. You're not pitching them on your services. You're not pitching them to hire you. You are offering value and you're connecting. Okay? So I want you to do that. So it's value first. It's not salesy. It's not sleazy. And then the next thing that you're going to do is get on a call with them, and you're going to walk them through. You're going to blow them away with your knowledge on a call. So actually go do your homework. Like, and this is Instagram's just an example, but say, awesome, like, send me over your Instagram. I'm going to take a look and I'll, you know, share my thoughts and make a couple of recommendations. And, you know, and you can even caveat, like, yes, I help business owners with this, but this is truly just to serve you and support you. This is something I love, and I love talking about it, and I love helping business owners with it. Okay? Now, make sure that you have your portfolio ready, okay? Too. And if you don't have a portfolio, you can even do like a one-pager. Who you are, what you do, how you help, and how to get in touch with you, how to hire you, how to book a call, etc. Okay, so now you're going to get on the call, and you're basically going to walk through their findings. And maybe you're not a social media expert. Maybe you do websites or finances. You can ask them to send over some numbers. And here, really trust yourself. Again, this comes back to the beginning of the conversation about you're an expert. You have experience that can be transferred into your VA business like today. Like, you are an expert from day one. And the sooner you adopt that conviction and that identity, the sooner you're going to book out your business. Like, belief is the silent killer of your, or like a lack of belief is a silent killer of your virtual assistant business. Okay. So then you're going to get on a call. You're going to share your knowledge, your wisdom, your tips, like, challenge yourself to whatever they have you audit. Challenge yourself to pick 3 key things that you would make a huge difference if they made those changes, or even one thing it could be, you know, and trust yourself here. Like, don't second guess. Don't ask all your friends. Like, just take a quick look at the thing and be like, yeah, like, if they did this, this would make a huge difference, and ask yourself why. write it down, take that to the call with them. Okay. And then at the end of the call, you're like, it's so simple, you know, it's like, how did that feel? Like, does that feel like a good strategy for you? Is that something you want more help with? And they're going to say yes, they're going to say no. But here's the thing too, is that there's a law called the law of reciprocity. So typically when you give, this is another psychological lever. And again, it's not that you're doing this with the intention that they hire you, but you are a business owner, you are strategic, and you also know that building your business, value first. Like, that's why I'm showing up to give you this live training today. Value first, right? Like, you pour into your people. And so you get to just pour into these prospective clients, position yourself as an expert. And here's the thing too, this goes back to the beginning of the strategy, is that even if they don't hire you, the next time their friend, because business owners know business owners, the next time their friend says, dang, I'm like really struggling with my Instagram. And they're like, oh my gosh, like I just connected with this Instagram expert. They gave me some amazing tips. Like, let me send you to them. Like, it works so well. Okay. So that is the biggest thing. And here's the thing too, is that, you know, going back to, yes, job boards are amazing. You can find VA roles there. But the thing is that the business owners have already decided how much they're going to pay, what the role is worth, the hours, all of that. And so when you get to lead with yourself and you get to lead the conversations, you also get to set the tone for, you know, what you're worth and what you're going to get paid. And again, it comes back to really owning your confidence, your conviction, your expertise, your authority there. And that is something no one can do but you. I can't give you permission. You have to give yourself permission to do that. And so I just want to say, give yourself permission today to be the expert, to show up with confidence, to choose something to nerd out about, to expand your skill set. And in the expanding of your skill set, you're going to get excited and you're going to want to share it. And you're going to be like, yo, I just learned this thing about Instagram. If you do this, like, you're going to blow up your business. That is the energy that books out your business. So go pick something to nerd out on today. Go have some conversations. And the other thing that I want to add before we say goodbye for the day, like I could hang out with you all day, but the other thing that, oh my gosh, I totally lost the thing. What was it? What was it? That's so funny. See, this is like in real time. And this is also why I'm like, we just hang out. We're real, like we're shoulder to shoulder humans. Oh my gosh, what was it? It was good. It was something about booking clients. If I think of it, I'll just put it in the group. Okay. That's so funny. This is going to bother me until I remember what it was. I don't know. I'll put it in the group. Anyways, this was so fun. So fun. If you have questions, definitely reach out. You can put them in the live, the chat for it. And me and my team, we can pop in, get you all sorted, get you supported. Like I said, like the VA industry to me, it's not like, yes, of course, it's about being a virtual assistant and I want to help you crush it as a VA, but I really see it as something so much bigger and so much deeper than that. This is about like finding your thing, your confidence, like your purpose. And I will also add this, that the VA industry is the most amazing pathway and portal to business. And it might not be that you're going to be a VA for the rest of your life, but it's going to give you the skills and the experience on how to run a business, how to market, message, sell, serve, to show up as an expert. And when you have those life skills, those are life skills. You can literally do anything. And I've seen this, you know, I've supported hundreds of students in my VA Leadership Academy. It's so cool too to see, you know, some people are like, the VA work is it for me and I love it and they're earning amazing money. But some of them are like, whoa, like this has opened my eyes to what's possible and also to what I really want to do. And they go on too to do like build crazy coaching businesses or, you know, become this like nuanced expert in this very specific thing and like build a business entirely on that. So no, too, just like if you're being called to the VA industry, to being a virtual assistant, trust that nudge, lean into the nudge. Like the worst thing you can do is ignore your nudges, your intuitive hits, you're just feeling in your body like, whoa, there's something here. That's the worst thing you can do is ignore that. So trust that, move on it. Start doing research, listen to the trainings in here, listen to my podcast. If you want help building out your VA business, just send me a message. It's like literally my favorite thing to do. And it's just like, it's going to be such a cool journey because you're leaning into yourself, you're building your confidence. Like I said, it's life skills, your confidence, your ability to sell, market, message, to be a business owner, to show up as an expert, to do awesome work. And also, like, going back to what we said, like, you serve first, you provide value first, and the world will meet you there. Like, you can't not give and not receive. And it's the most beautiful thing. That's like a whole other conversation and training. Anyways, I love you guys. I love spending time with you. I hope that you got so much out of this. I'd love to hear your top tips or your top takeaways, reflections, anything like that felt like a breakthrough for you. The biggest thing, just go do it. Don't think about it. If you're ready to go book out your VA business, take even one thing that you heard on this training today and go do it immediately. Don't wait. Don't think about it. Your brain's going to talk you out of doing it. If you just go do it, like literally, I'm about to click finish on this live and I want you to go text 3 people. Just say, hey, I just started a VA business. Let's see, I took notes so I didn't forget anything. So you're going to say, I just started my VA business, or I just launched a VA business. If you or anyone in your circle needs admin or business support, I'd love to connect. So I want you, as soon as I hang up, go send that text right now. Okay. Mwah. Bye guys. I love you. Happy Friday.